Welcome back. We're going to do our Friday recap. We're going to look at Bitcoin, the weekly closes for our favorite Bitcoin miners. I'm going to talk a little bit about the ETFs and their inflows versus the inflows of other big ETFs in the world. And let's get into it straight away. So on Bitcoin here, we are at 62,800. We're holding very strong up here. This is looking like it's going to potentially become a bull flag. That would be nice. So we're doing that pullback through time, which means we're staying flat so far, and we're going to let that 5 EMA or SMA come up to us and meet us where we are, where we may eventually pull back to the 15, but it'll be much higher than it is now if we can hold this space up here, much like back here from February 15th until February 24th. We did pull back to the 15 SMA on the daily, but we did so by staying flat. So we did a pullback through time. And it's looking like we're setting up to do something similar to that here as well, where the 5's already catching up. In a day or two, by Sunday, it'll be caught up if we stay up here. And by Monday or Tuesday, so will the 15 will be getting, up into this box here, up in the high 50s versus the low 50s. If we were to fall, now this can happen. We've definitely done, like right back here, right? We did this jump from 37,000 to 44,000. We stayed flat for a week, and then we came right back down to, where is it? 40,000. So we have done that before. Same thing here, where we jumped up from 43 all the way up to 48, and then we came crashing back down to 41. Now that could happen. Now fortunately, we've got a lot of support down here. If we came down, we'd probably hit 52,000 pretty hard and stay there. I don't know if we'd get below 50,000. We looked at the book maps last time, and there's quite a lot of support down in that $50,000, $48,000 range. So I don't know if we'd get back below that even if we came crashing down. So Bitcoin's actually looking pretty strong. As a result, today the miners were looking a little bit strong as well. We see Marathon here up 4.2% to 5% on the day. We've got this really beautiful bullish candle here for the daily on Marathon right down here. That gives me some confidence, especially since the weekly looks absolutely disgusting. I do not like this candle. This one, I mean, this is not as bad as what I'm going to show you on the CleanSpark chart. It does look more like indecision versus anything else, since all these are very similar in size. With that big wick, those breakouts are failing. We're holding strong right here at this $27 level, right between that and 23. We're holding that pretty tightly like we've done in the past. Now, the last time we did that was back here in December, and if you remember what happened after that, we came all the way down to 14. Now, I don't know if that will happen again. I hope it doesn't happen again, but I'm telling you, if we get below $23, we are absolutely heading to $20. That is just how that's going to be if we get beneath that level. So keep an eye on $23, and if we get below it, keep an eye out for 20 to pick up some more Marathon Digital potentially. Of course, this is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Just what I'm thinking when I see this chart. I do think that that would line up nicely with my ascending channel here, and with the chart pattern that I'm seeing right here could potentially be that. Even if we come down to 20, we're still making a lower high on the weekly. We have a higher high, and if we stop at 20, that's a lower high. That's still bullish. It would just be a pretty dramatic drop from our current price and may cause some weak hands to fall out of the market on that one. Let's take a look at CleanSpark now. This one also has a decently bullish candle on the daily. We are up in after hours, as you can see. This is a very aggressive sell-off. Very different from the pattern before where it was less aggressive. Now, the fact that it is so aggressive gives me some hope that it may alleviate and move back up, especially since the RSI is starting to curl back up again. We almost did a 50 retracement. That would have made me super bullish, but it didn't. So on the weekly though, on CleanSpark, it is bad. The weekly chart, the weekly candle is ugly. This is a very, very, very ugly candle. I do not like that. That looks like a blow off top. Now, I know Marathon also kind of looked like that, but Marathon had other candles similar to it behind it that didn't break down, to give it a little bit of an idea that, maybe this could hold, maybe it won't, maybe it'll stay flat for a while, do a pullback through time like Bitcoin, and then maybe carry on. CleanSpark has no support here. I mean, it has a little bit of support here, back here from 2021, but we're in 2024 now. This is bull run, or well, busting of the bull run support back here. I don't know if I trust that to hold it up. The most recent support we have is down here at 11, $13 if you count the peak of December as support, but that's just a wick. I mean, till we get to a body is 1263 down there at this previous peak. So we got a long way to fall. We got a little further to fall than Marathon, but if we stay, as long as we stay above 655, we're still bullish. It's still bullish. All we need to do is hold above 655, and that is still a higher low, higher high, higher low situation going on the weekly, which is bullish. So keep that in mind. Even if we come all the way down to the 200 week, it's sitting at 967. Even if it comes all the way back down to that, this is still a bullish chart in the long run for a longer move. This is simply a short-term move. I think that is probably going to be the last buying opportunity going into the halving would be if this were to drop to $10. Now, and this candle is telling me that it probably is going to come to 13 in the next few days. Now, the daily, we really need to see what the daily is going to do, the daily candles for Monday and Tuesday, probably Wednesday as well. If we're going to break down, it's probably going to happen in the first half of next week. So that's what I'm paying attention to. That's what I am watching for. I know I got a lot of lines on here right now. This chart's getting really ugly. I'm going to have to clean this up soon. If we move to the upside and break this aggressive selling channel right here, if we can break that, I mean, honestly, even if it just starts to taper off and start flattening out, I mean, even that would be pretty great. So I'm going to go here and about right there. I'm going to take this to a smaller time frame so I can get more candles and wicks involved in it. Let me see here. Actually, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Okay, that's about here-ish. I know that this one's ugly because it's just so steep. So I'm going to go ahead and say if price breaks out above this descending channel right here, this aggressive selling pattern, if we can break out and above that and start following this green trend line, I'm going to be more bullish on that. I am bullish over the next couple of days, which could save us, mostly because we hit the 15-day SMA and bounced. We hit this trend line, which correlated with the 15-day SMA and bounced. So I do like that a lot. Hopefully it's something similar to like what we saw back here, where we came to the trend, bounced, stuck to it for a couple of days, and then launched off again. Perhaps that could happen, and that would be great. Now, if we fail to get above 2347 and take out this high, then I'll start being worried about testing this line again, potentially breaking it. And if we reverse and break this line, then I'm looking at that $13 level. That's what I'm thinking when I see that. Let's move on to Bit Digital real quick. Bit Digital made a new low today, made a lower low. So we are now in a lower high, lower low pattern. That's not good. I don't like that for Bit Digital. That makes me a little bearish short term on Bit Digital, thinking that perhaps I could maybe pick up some more shares around that under 250 range here in the near future. So keep that in mind. It's creating a lower high, lower low pattern right now on the daily, and we could potentially see prices beneath, testing these lows over here at 235, maybe even 220 or lower here in the near future. So keep that in mind for that. Bit Farms. Oh man, I haven't talked about Bit Farms in a while. Bit Farms, again, same thing. They're trying to make a megaphone like Bit Digital was. Let me see here. So this is the trend line up here, and this is the trend line below. It's trying to make a megaphone. I don't like that. That's bearish overall. But we did hit the 50 and bounce off the 50, so that gives me some confidence that we're going to move back up into this box and potentially above it into this ascending channel again on Bit Farms. This one's a little more murky to see than the others. Like we did make a lower low, but it's coming off of a higher high. So we need to see what happens on this little turnaround here. If this bounce fails to come out and get above this candle, or let's say maybe even this previous high back here at 366, if this little turnaround here on the daily fails to get up to 366 before revisiting this 50-day, then I'll be a little more bearish on Bit Farms for now. Let's see what happens with CIFR as well real quick. CIFR looks a lot like Bit Digital, lower high, lower low. That's not good. I don't like that. What about the warrants? That's not right. What about the warrants? The warrants are falling down. They're under $1 right now. They were back into this ascending channel. I kind of thought they'd get back there. It just took time. Let's see, we broke this aggressive selling channel, but we are back in another one that's similarly aggressive. So I am looking at this in the low 70s, maybe the mid to low 70-cent range, maybe even to the bottom of this channel, at the very low 70s for the warrants right now. Okay, let's move on to the ETFs. Yesterday, so this is data from yesterday. I don't have today's data yet, but I mentioned in one of yesterday's videos the massive outflows. You can see this is the list of it. BitMEX Research releases this on Twitter pretty much every single day. You can see here on the far right, this is GBTC. They had almost $600 million of outflows. Meanwhile, BlackRock had 600 million of inflows. Fidelity came in second at 44 million. BitB21, ARC9, outflows from BTCO of 1.5 million. I did speculate that this huge 600 million outflow, which has not been, we have not seen a similar sell of that magnitude since FTX was offloading its bags, making me think Genesis is probably beginning to offload its bags after that court settlement, allowing them to make the sale of GBTC. So this could be the first day of many where GBTC is, having outflows in the $600 million range. And if BlackRock, honestly, BlackRock, they're the only one equaling this volume, but in a positive direction. If they falter for a few days, we could see some big drop in Bitcoin. So keep that in mind in the next couple of weeks, because this might just be ramping up on GBTC. And if IBIT doesn't hold the same level of volume that it's been holding the last few days, if it fails to do that, then we might see a big drop in Bitcoin in the next week or two or so. This is what euphoria looks like. This article. Bitcoin ETFs hit volume record of 7.6 billion. This was 2 days ago. $7.6 billion of volume. Now, for comparison, on the 28th of February, right here, SPY, the most liquid ETF in the world, only had $228 million of volume that day. Today, or not today, yesterday, they had 3.5 billion all by itself. I mean, it's huge. But the day that the Bitcoin ETFs got over $6 billion in volume, the SPY only did 228 million. Keep that in mind in terms of how big this is getting, how much money is flowing into these ETFs. This is insane. Also, something to be aware of, Bitcoin ETFs now hold nearly 4% of all Bitcoin. Honestly, I think there was somewhere in this article where they talked about how MicroStrategy, right? Yeah, MicroStrategy has so far acquired. Yeah, so MicroStrategy now only has 25% of the amount of Bitcoin in the ETFs. So they have MicroStrategy beat 4-1 in terms of how much Bitcoin they have in these ETFs. They are swallowing up all of the Bitcoin. There's very likely going to be a supply shock incoming soon, where we see all of the prices of all of our favorite assets just skyrocketing as a result. And with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.